Hey, it's Trent. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to talk about my journey within bikes. What bikes I've had, what bikes I've sold, what bikes I want to acquire, and what bikes I'm currently riding. So let's get into it. I got my first bike as an adult during COVID, and I bought the bike because, like many other people, I needed a way to stay active and to stay sane. So I bought the cheapest bike I could, which was a $600 mountain bike. I drove 3 hours to get it because there was no bikes in the country at this time. And I rode the crap out of that thing.
All right, so I recently got a bike. Drones have kind of taken a backseat the last few weeks, but I've been stoked on it. I just got a carrier for my car, and right now I'm headed out to go change out the pedals on the bike. Starting to upgrade it, so stoked.
I loved riding it so much that I got a bike rack for it, and I took it on a road trip for a month. And that was really fun because I have done extended road trips in the past, and I didn't have like a thing to do on that road trip. So I was driving around, I'd hike a little bit, but I wasn't fishing, I wasn't biking, I wasn't, I wasn't doing a lot of things. I was making videos, but wasn't doing anything outside. And so I wanted to go on a road trip again and really get to enjoy the outdoors in a different sort of way, in addition to camping. So that bike was my testing bike. That was the, hey, if I ride this a lot, I can get a new bike. And I set a phone background with the bike I wanted to get after that one. And it said 2,000 miles on it. So I told myself, when I hit 2,000 miles, I can purchase myself a new bike. And I got very close to that 2,000 mark. I was very motivated. I wanted to get there. I wanted a new bike. So I started looking at gravel bikes because I mainly wanted to bike tour. And so I wanted something that was fully rigid, that had lots of mounting points, and something that I know could take me cross country. And I was between, I think, like two yellow bikes, a Santa Cruz, their gravel bike, and the Specialized Diverge. And my local bike shop had this one up here sitting in the window. So I did something you should never do, is go to a bike shop with all the cash you need in your pocket, ready to go, because then you feel very pressured. So I went and got a coffee, and this was the point I was at when I decided when I was trying to make a decision, and when I was trying to buy that bike. And I've made the decision that I'm gonna go to this bike shop and I'm gonna buy this bike, because you can't put a price on health, and this bike is going to be with me for the next 10, 15 years, and it's going to help me with my health. You can't put a price on that. I'm here, and I'm doing it.
You are a proud owner of a 58 Diverge Sport. The beautiful yellow. Damn.
Yeah. Ooh, she light. Buying that bike was a lot of fun, and I remember taking it home, sitting it next to my washer and dryer, so I had something to lean on, putting on my shoes, and really trying to clip in, trying to learn this whole new world of bikes that I didn't even know. I remember riding it in front of my house and shifting the gears down and then not knowing how to shift them back up. So it was a real learning curve. And at this time, I set the goal to ride the Pacific Coast route. which I still want to do. Unfortunately, I didn't get to do it at the time due to a lot of reasons we won't get into now. But I got the bike and I rode the crap out of that thing. It was fun to have a bike that was like my first nice bike. And then I took this bike on my first bike packing trip. It was a Swift Adventure Coast Solstice camp out. And I was like, hey, you know what? This is a great excuse. Let's ride up to Carpinteria and go camping. So that was kind of my shakeout ride before I was going to do the coast. Since I didn't do the coast, I ended up going to Utah and bike packing 400 miles around from St. George up through the Dixie National Forest, through Cedar City, through the west side of the 15, through Dixie National Forest on that side, and then down into Zion and back to St. George. That trip was a lot of fun, and that really solidified bike packing as a love forever in me. And that wasn't an easy trip. I was alone. My first bike packing trip, multiple hundreds of miles alone, in a state I was unfamiliar with. Really, the cards were stacked against me, and I got really, I got the pre-trip heebie-jeebies. Like, I just wanted to drive home. I didn't want to go. And I love getting over that feeling. So after that bikepacking trip, I started a job at a company called Auterion, where I test fly drones and make videos for the company. So no more extended trips since then. And that made me really want to try something new. I had moved next to the mountains where there's amazing trails. So I said, hey, I need a mountain bike. So I got a Specialized Epic Evo, and I love that bike. Like, that bike, it got me up Blacktop Hill for the first time, which is like a 420-foot climb over 3/4 of a mile. And I had always struggled getting up this climb on my gravel bike. I have since put bigger gearing on the gravel bike. But that just felt so good. It was such a celebration to get up and over the hill. Also, this bike was like 20 pounds. Like, it was super lightweight. And so riding this thing, it was just so fun. You could throw it around and you could get air with it super easy. And it was just such a fun bike. I really wish I got to spend more time with it. But I felt like I wasn't doing it justice at this point. I got it not because I was looking for a cross-country bike. I wanted the Epic Evo because it had a big space in the frame for a frame bag that I could use for bike packing. And at a certain point, I felt like I wasn't doing that bike justice. And so I decided to sell it. And that was, I was going to sell it to pay off my car, but I had gotten into e-bikes since I got the mountain bike. And I have 2 Class 2 e-bikes, but they didn't quite I didn't want to ride them because it didn't quite feel like a bike. It felt like a motor was getting me to a certain speed and I could join in if I wanted, and I couldn't. More on that later, on how the distinction between e-bikes, Class 1, Class 2, Class 3. I've got some serious thoughts on that. But I wanted an e-bike that felt like riding a real bike. I wanted either a Class 1 or a Class 3. I really wanted a Class 3 because I want to use my bike to go far. So for those of you who don't know, Class 1 is pedal assist only, up to 20 miles an hour. Class 3 is pedal assist only, up to 28 miles an hour. and class 2 is 20 miles an hour pedal assist with the option of a throttle, as well as pedal assist. So I wanted a class 1 or 3 e-bike. I knew I wanted a mid-drive motor, and I knew that I wanted to still go mountain biking because I was trading in my mountain bike, but I also wanted something that I could commute on very well. And that led me to the Turbo Tero. Basically, I've traded my Epic Evo for the Turbo Tero. And as I keep riding the Tero, I think this was a good decision. I just missed the Epic Evo. That bike was just freaking awesome. But I think the Tero will fit my mission profile a little better. So for those of you who don't know, the Specialized Turbo Tero is a class 1 e-bike. So it is helping you pedal up to 20 miles an hour. Specialized says this is 4 times you, meaning it has, I believe, 90 Newton meters of torque, which is the most torque in any of Specialized motors. And let me remind you, I thought I was going to get a class 3. I wanted speed. And so far, I've got almost 100 miles on the bike now. And so far, I don't mind going 20 miles an hour. I don't mind the motor cutting off at 20 miles an hour. And that's because of 2 reasons. I think, one, the Turbo Tero has a whole lot of torque. And that torque makes you feel like the bike is very powerful. It doesn't feel like it's holding back on power because it can't get to a top speed. I know this bike has power, and so that settles that for me. In terms of the speed, I am slowly starting to like going 20 miles an hour more. And it gives me more time to interact with the environment, to look around. It's safer. And I think that when you ride 20 miles an hour as opposed to peaking at 28, this is giving the bike more efficiency, therefore giving the bike more range. When you're going faster, the motor, I don't know with this specific motor, but typically a motor would pull more amps, more watts, draining the voltage of the battery quicker. So going 20 miles an hour means that I'm able to sustain an effort longer, commute farther than if I had the same bike, same motor, same torque that topped out at 28. Now I think I'm averaging about 30 miles projected per ride, which is spot on for what I need. And I think if I had the 28 mile an hour motor, I think that would be something more around 26, 25 miles per charge. So that's interesting. I think I've got a pretty good mission profile for the Tero. I want to do some light mountain biking. I want to be able to go on trails and enjoy myself and not feel like I'm under biking. On the flip side, I want to be able to use this bike to commute, to ride perhaps 20 miles to work or to a friend's house, and have that pedal assist that whole time. And I have found that I'm riding my bike more, right? When I ride the Tero, I can choose the level of effort that I want to give. So if I'm not having it that day, if my Whoop score says that I'm, in the yellow or in the red, I can still hop on a bike and get some activity and get myself moving, which is important because I edit video for work. So that's the story about how I got to the Tero. I will probably be making a review video about the Tero specifically very soon. And I also want to compare the Tero against the Aventon Adventure. Now, it's not an apples to apples comparison. They're two completely different bikes, and one is more than double the cost of the other. But I think that comparison is something that will help new e-bike buyers understand a Class 2 bike versus a Class 1 or Class 3. Anyway, I hope you learned something about my journey within bikes. It's been a really fun journey, and I could keep buying bikes. Oh, I want a front loader cargo bike. I want a Turn GSD. I want you can never have enough bikes. I want a tall bike. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. I hope you had some fun. I hope you learned a little bit about me, a little bit about my journey within riding bikes. And there's one thing I like to say around here, and that is never stop chasing your curiosity. I've always chased my curiosity in life, and it has always done me well. I hope you stick around, watch my other videos. I'll see you on the next one.